English fluency up quickly.
Yeah, we've been digging into some excerpts from an English learning podcast.
And it's specifically focused on how, daily conversation can be like your secret weapon.
And our mission here really is to pull out the absolute best bits, the most actionable advice from this material.
Right. We want to give you a kind of shortcut to understanding how focusing on just everyday chat can seriously speed up your English learning.
Exactly. It's all about making it achievable.
So yeah, over the next few minutes, we'll explore why just talking daily is such a surprisingly fast way to improve.
And we'll zero in on some key phrases that native speakers use constantly. You hear them everywhere.
We'll see how they fit together naturally in, simple chats.
And then get into some really concrete, practical tips, things you can actually start using, today to build that daily habit.
It's about shifting language learning from this big, abstract thing
into simple, manageable steps that actually fit into your life.
Right, absolutely. Okay, so let's unpack this first big idea. It really jumps out from the source material. Just how vital speaking English daily is. Even if it's just simple stuff, it really speeds things up.
Yeah, the material frames language as a skill, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like playing guitar or learning tennis.
Exactly. And skills, well, they only get better with consistent actual use. You have to do it.
And what I found interesting is the point that fluency isn't necessarily about knowing tons of long, complicated words.
Right.
It's more about getting good at the useful, real-life phrases.
Yeah.
The stuff you actually need day to day.
Yeah, the material gives these really simple examples. Things like, how's it going?
Or, not much, just working.
Sounds good, that kind of thing.
And the reason these little phrases are so important, according to the source, is just that native speakers use them all the time.
Yeah.
They're just the background noise of casual chat.
Totally. It's the default setting, almost.
So when you start using these common, shorter bits yourself, your English just sounds, more natural, less stiff.
Less like you're reading from a textbook, maybe.
Exactly. Much more functional for just, talking to people.
Okay, so building on that, these practical phrases, the material actually lists in some key ones. Super useful for just starting a casual chat or, keeping it going.
These are the essential tools for those quick chats, right? By the water cooler, bumping into someone.
Yeah, totally. First one maybe seems obvious, but it's crucial. Hey, how are you?
The classic opener.
The source highlights it as just the go-to for kicking off a casual talk. Simple as that.
Then there's, what have you been up to? Which is basically just a relaxed way of saying, so what's new?
Right. Asking about the recent stuff.
And a really common, natural reply you hear a lot.
I've been busy with work.
Yeah. Simple. Everyone gets it.
And if someone says they've been busy, and, you have too.
Same here. Perfect. Short, sweet, means me too.
Love that one. And then for ending things informally, catch you later.
Yeah.
Or talk soon.
These kinds of phrases, as the source points out, they just smooth everything out, don't they?
Definitely. Helps you move away from that slightly rigid, correct English sound.
Toward something that just flows better, more authentic.
Exactly.
Okay, so this is where it gets really practical. The source material doesn't just list these phrases.
No, it shows them in action.
Right. It gives this little mini scenario, a simple back and forth, showing exactly how these phrases link up.
Which is super helpful, actually. Seeing the pattern, how one thing leads to the next in a normal chat.
So the example dialogue, it follows this kind of flow. Starts with a simple, hey, and how's it going? The other person answers, maybe briefly, and then this is key, asks back, what about you? Keeps the ball rolling.
Then they might use, same here, agreeing about being busy or something.
And after that, maybe mention what they've been busy with, just briefly.
And maybe touch on weekend plans, something light.
Before wrapping up with those informal goodbyes we mentioned, like, catch you later.
Or talk soon.
Seeing those little pieces fit together in a realistic way, like in that example.
Yeah.
It's so valuable.
Yeah.
Because practicing those kinds of short, believable exchanges builds your confidence. Not just in knowing the words.
But in actually using them in the right spot, in context.
Precisely.
Okay, so if the key is focusing on these useful phrases and using them daily, the obvious question is, how? How do you actually make that happen?
Right, the practical steps.
And the material gives 4 pretty simple, actionable tips for building that daily practice habit.
And they're designed to be easy, things you can fit in even if you're really busy.
Okay, tip 1. Start your morning by just saying 3 simple sentences in English. Out loud.
Out loud is important.
Yeah. Examples given are like, I feel good today, or I'm gonna work, just 3 short ones, get your mouth moving in English.
Gets the brain switched on to English mode, too.
Exactly. Tip 2 is about practicing common questions by asking yourself.
Like talking to yourself in the mirror.
Sort of. The specific example is asking yourself, what did I do today? And then answering yourself in English.
Okay, so it's like a mini review of your day, but in English. Practicing describing things.
Yeah, a self-contained practice loop. Third tip, watch short English videos or listen to short podcasts.
Okay.
And the key part is to pause now and then and repeat phrases or sentences you hear out loud again.
Mimicking. Yeah, that's really effective for pronunciation and rhythm.
Definitely. And the fourth tip, this one really stuck with me after going through the material.
What's that?
It's maybe the most crucial one. Don't be afraid to speak, even if you make mistakes.
Oh, absolutely. That fear holds so many people back.
Totally. The message is just crystal clear. Mistakes are normal. They're part of learning. Progress comes from using the language.
Not from waiting until you think you're perfect. Because, let's be honest, that day never really comes, does it?
Exactly. So these simple, consistent daily actions, even if they feel tiny,
They build up.
they build that habit of using English. And that creates this powerful momentum towards fluency. That's what the source really hammers home.
Yeah. So pulling it all together then, why daily chat matters, the key phrases, the practice tips, what's the big takeaway for you, the listener?
Well, this deep dive really suggests that focusing on getting good at those common everyday phrases.
And committing to that simple, consistent practice every single day.
That's your most direct path.
Right. Using those small phrases regularly, it's not just about knowing more words.
No, it's the key to actually feeling more comfortable, more confident when you speak English in real situations.
And the source material strongly implies that this confidence, this feeling of, I can do this, that's what really kicks your learning into high gear.
Because the more comfortable you feel,
The more you'll actually speak.
yeah,
And the more you speak, the better you get. It's a positive cycle.
makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
And that pretty much wraps up our deep dive into using everyday conversation as, well, a kind of fast track for improving your English.
It really is a strong reminder, isn't it, that sometimes these simplest actions, done consistently, have the biggest impact.
Absolutely. So as you go about your day, here's a final thought for you to maybe mull over based on what we've discussed.
Okay.
Which one of those 4 daily practice tips could you realistically start doing tomorrow? Just pick one.
Good question.
And maybe also think about this. How might shifting your focus away from I must be perfect toward just, I need to use the language.
Mistakes and all.
Yeah, mistakes and all. How might that actually change your whole experience of learning English?
Something to definitely think about.
Thanks for exploring these ideas with us today.